Welcome back to another episode of Out of Touch with John, Dustin, and Mitchell. Happy May. It's going to be May, as Justin Timberlake of NSYNC would say, in the most monotone voice possible from yours truly. So welcome to the show. It is Derby Week, Kentucky Derby Week, where I'm at in the lovely town of Louisville, Kentucky. We'll dive into a little bit of that later on, but how's it going, broskies, Dustin and Mitchell?
It's good. Got a lot of stuff brewing. Yeah, I don't know. He threw it to both of us, so I just took it.
That's fair.
He just stole it.
You got more interesting things happening than I do, so go for it.
I don't know if I have more. I just have a lot of stuff going on right now. Are we going to get into this now? Should I just?
We can go with whichever direction you want. I see you've got the SIG hat on. I know you don't work for them anymore, but you're still repping the SIG. It looks like.
Yeah, this hat is just a really good workout hat. It's got it's one of those trucker hats.
Yep.
And I had to. Usually, I need to start working out again. This is something tough that happened to me this morning, and then I'll get back into what I'm doing. But so, as you guys know, my wife is pregnant, and we've been going to the doctor a lot, and she's been getting all her vitals and all these tests done to make sure she's healthy. And a couple weeks ago, it got me thinking, I have no clue if I'm healthy. I haven't been to the doctor in who knows how long. I couldn't give you a ballpark of plus or minus 40 on either number of the blood pressure. I have no clue. It could be anything. I could be on the verge of death. Have no idea. So I went to the doctor this morning. First time going to this guy. And actually really like him. We're having some good conversations. He remembered me. Who just saw the name and was like, "Did you play football?" I said, "Yeah." Went through our whole checks. So I've gotten kind of friendly with this guy. And but again, it's the first time I've met him. And he says, I can't remember exactly how he said it now, but he said, your everything's looking good. All your numbers are really good. You're just heavy.
Oh.
I'm like,
he was that
thanks,
blunt
Doc.
about it. Oh man.
Yeah. Thanks, Doc. I was going to ask you about it, but now I'm just angry. No, it was a good way to start the week. Called me fat right off the rip. It is Monday, and this was at 8 a.m. Got called fat by the family practice doctor. Right.
Was it one of those things where he was like, "You're heavy," try to make a joke about it?
No. He kind of laughed, but he's mostly serious, and I think that's what hurt the most.
He wanted to shove it in your face because he knows that you're now a former.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh
athlete.
yeah, you're don't look like you used to." Yeah.
Oh, he threw that out there?
No, but
okay.
But he was thinking it.
All he said was, everything looks good. You're just heavy. And I said, "Thank you."
Doctors do have a way of being blunt, which I guess you don't want it sugarcoated. I remember, I think I was 25 when this happened. I had to go in. I don't remember what was going on. I think I had something was going on with my stomach. By the way, here's the thing you didn't know. You know what? I don't know if I want to say this because
bring it on.
My man card again. I had such stomach troubles in my early to mid 20s. I had to do an ultrasound because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me.
That's all right. I got an epidural in college.
Did you really?
Yeah, which is only for pregnant ladies and apparently people with bulging discs in their back.
Well, now we must have a story that accompanies this, correct?
I just, when I was in high school, I think I've kind of talked about this. I didn't practice very hard at football. Didn't really lift that hard either. We would just roll the balls out and pitch it to me. It was low A football in Indiana. Not to just there were some good players, but I had some good seasons. So everybody's the worst in high school, and I was at the top of that list.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. Didn't tie my shoes half the time. Never strapped my cleat or my shoulder pads ever. And the reason that I say all that is I got zero practice with form lifting weights. I had no clue how to do anything. So I get to Indiana and we're doing, I believe it was like power cleans from the ground, and it wasn't a lot of weight, but I had never done it, and my back went straight arched, and a couple discs. They didn't like I can't remember exactly what this. They didn't slip. They were just bulging, so they just hurt and would flare up. It still flares up to this day, but it was literally a year straight when I was a freshman, and I still had to practice. It was right at the beginning of the season, and I wasn't going to sit out for the rest of the season. I was trying to play. Never did step on the field, but so I got an epidural in my back, and it was instant relief for like 2 weeks. And then it went right back, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that reminds me for some reason. So have you ever seen those videos of people, they're chiropractors, or at least they pose as chiropractors, and they lay people on their backs on these tables, and they'll put this thing called a Y strap around their head.
Their neck. Yeah.
Their head and their neck, and they'll just jerk them backward, and it cracks their entire spine from the neck all the way down, to wherever the spine ends, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the videos of the people making fun of those videos where they use like the old skeletons?
Yes, I actually I laughed because I saw that actually this morning as I was scrolling through Instagram.
It's so good. They're like the chiropractor videos, and one of them is a guy throwing the old skeleton, like the ones you have in science class, out of a helicopter. That's how you get the back crack. The best crack is off this helicopter. Yeah.
The one I saw was like the guy grabbed the skeleton head and like swung it around his head.
Yeah.
So why do they claim it's unsafe? I've never heard them out.
They don't. They're just so all those chiropractor videos, they put, I am assuming, a microphone like right up to where they're cracking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just makes these unbelievable sounds. Like if your body made that sound, your neck would be in pieces. They broke your neck if it makes that noise. And so that's what these videos are making fun of. They'll like take the leg and go behind the guy's head. It's very funny. If you haven't looked it up, you should.
I didn't think about it, but I'm a naive 26-year-old, and I don't think about those kinds of things all the time. But that makes perfect sense on why the crack is so much louder than it should be.
So the reason I brought up the ultrasound was to get to this point to make Mitchell feel better. When I was going through this in my early 20s, they called me and they're like, things look good. You just need to start taking a Pepsid like every day for a couple months and see if it goes away. And it did help. And then she was like, and then your cholesterol. Maybe you should go outside every once in a while.
Oh my gosh. Doctors can be hardcore.
This was a nurse.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm sure she was an RN, but nonetheless, I have had a similar situation where it's just like, okay, maybe I should go on a walk every day now.
I guess we aren't even going to smile when we tell me that. Just
this was over the phone. So she there was extra no filter.
I'm yet to have that type of experience where the doctor tries to shame me, but I'm about at that age that I believe you two were, or at least Dustin, where you were, whenever something like that happened. And I don't know if I've talked about them on the show, but I let Dustin and Mitchell know about all the random stomach issues that I have sometimes leading up to the show. I was
fortunate at your age. I was still playing. So when I was your age was the last time I'd seen a doctor, and I went in there with like 6 or 7% body fat, was running, burning calories, could just run a marathon and not even break a sweat. And times have changed.
So you went 4 years without seeing a doctor?
Yeah, at least.
Wow.
It may have been 5 or 6, because I don't think I saw one before I went to Germany, and I was 25 when I went to Germany. So it may be 6 years. So yeah, that was why I was sitting in the doctor's office thinking, I wonder if I have anything that's positive. I do have good blood pressure, which was exciting. I'm just fat, according to him.
This was when I went to the doctor in the last summer. It was like the greatest relief because everything came back good. They're like, clean report, clean bill of health, blood test, blood work, all that stuff's good. And that's when you realize, like, when you're excited to get that phone call and hear that message, that's when you realize that you're actually an old person.
Like, the things that get you excited are very different.
Yeah, it's just,
no more pizza parties at school.
Yeah. Well, I think I was like, I can
dying.
go. I'm pretty sure I was like, I can go down the road to Steak and Shake and have a milkshake now. Good job, Dustin. Treat yourself.
Yeah, right. Let's get these grades a little bit lower next time. This is too good.
I think that's one of the saddest things, though, because whenever you're younger, you feel like you can eat an entire, and not even feel like you can eat an entire pizza. And not that I'm encouraging that anyone should, but you can eat an entire pizza in one sitting, and it may not even, you may not even flinch. You may not even feel it. You may feel it the next day, but not in the harsh way that you might as somebody in their 20s or 30s or older than that. Now, at my age, if I have more than 3 slices, and I'm talking even like thin crust type stuff, that's enough to make you want to go to the bathroom sometimes.
What?
Oh, yeah, no.
Let me specify when I say thin crust. I'm not talking like the square, like small slices. I'm talking like a thinner, regular slice
you
crust.
Get 3 pieces of Pizza King pizza that are
no. I should have been more specific.
I can eat an entire pizza now, and the only thing that's hurt is my pride. I can smash a whole pizza. My body can just go, and that's why it's hard. Like I eat still like I used to when I was burning 4 hours worth of football practice calories, and you had to replenish, and it truly was a recovery meal. Every meal is now a recovery meal, but I'm not recovering from anything.
I was just gonna say, or I was gonna ask, because what John said, like a normal college student, or in our instance, because it would be college male, you're right, we could eat a whole pizza, but we didn't have 4-hour football practices, but we did have 2.5 to 3 hour tennis practices.
100%. And tennis is way harder physically at practice, would be my guess.
No. Oh God, no. We're talking maybe at like the Division I Indiana, Ohio State level at Manchester. We're just happy to be out there. We're just happy to be having a racket in our hands. I mean, we would do a lot of conditioning and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just that when you're active for that long, and on top of your already college boy appetite, you then throw in 3 hours of just constant movement. Yeah. I bet I could have eaten 2 pizzas.
It's easy.
Maybe not in one sitting, but throughout the course of the day, 100%.
Yeah, no problem. That was just.
I remember sitting on my dorm room floor, just pigging out on an open pizza box.
I don't even know if I want to hear the rest of this. That's a sad story.
I'm not going to go any further.
Starts on my dorm room floor is a bad start. I don't want to know anything that happened on your dorm room floor. I don't.
That's the thing. Like there's no shame in a dorm room, like by yourself. Okay. There's no shame.
Easy, buddy.
This.
Did you have shame on a dorm room floor by yourself?
I was never by myself.
Oh,
okay. Actually, that's not true. I was by myself. I slept. We went to see the movie Sinister, and I was only in a dorm room my freshman year.
Oh.
We went to see Sinister, most terrifying movie maybe ever, and I was scared, and my roommate did not go, so he was not scared. So he tried to turn off the lights to go to bed, and I said absolutely not. So I slept on the floor outside, like in our dorm rooms had like the one room and then a connector and then another room. It was like 4 people for one dormitory or whatever. I slept in the middle part with the lights on the floor.
I don't blame you.
I was scared. It was a scary movie.
Okay. I've never seen it, but I know the famous lawnmower scene. I think we may have discussed this once before.
I mean, it's a tragedy. It's a tragic movie that I think is the scariest movie ever made.
Before we all have to sleep with the lights on, I want to shift this back to a happier conversation.
Agreed.
Because I want to know, I saw one of my friends, I could not do this. I came close, but I could not. One of my friends in college, we would go to Buffalo Wild Wings on like a Thursday, and he would eat 50 wings. Like it was no problem. Like 50 in one sitting. It was great because I could watch the entire game. But my question is, what is the one food that you guys could just like hammer without a problem? Because for me, this is really embarrassing. I mean, I would go to Dairy Queen and get an ice cream cake, and did not last long. Like I could once a week, probably not once a week, but I bet it was once a month. I could just like, nobody is sharing this ice cream cake. I'm eating it all, and it had to be Dairy Queen because it's got like those crumbles of cookie,
It's
in the
so
middle.
good. It's
Oh,
so. I haven't had one in too long, and now I'm craving it.
I can't down anything anymore, and that's probably a good thing.
no, in college though. This is what I'm
In
asking.
college, see the
Like,
first
what
thing
was
that
your
came to
go-to?
mind was like Krispy Kreme donuts because those things are like air, and you can probably
Okay,
eat 7 or
that's
8 of
fair.
those things, and it may hurt a little bit, but I mean those you don't even feel those going down.
Yeah, mine is the Chips Ahoy cookies.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
That is.
Laura will get the like family size that's 3 racks. And if it's a long game night, like I'm playing video games, I'll eat the whole thing, no problem. No problem.
Ooh, here's
And
something.
when the
Saltine
ones-
crackers. I
Are
know
you-
that's
what?
might be a weird pull, but I can eat an entire. This is even now.
I
can
would
eat
like
an
to see you
entire
eat an
sleeve of
entire
saltine
thing.
crackers.
No chance. Your mouth would be the Sahara Desert.
You can drink water. I didn't say without any liquids.
So
That's the crazy.
if
That is a
you-
preposterous move.
if John Alden is by himself and he's having a movie night or something, you're
He
like,
just
oh
pulls
god, I'm
out
gonna
the
break out the
saltines,
saltine.
dude. Premium.
There's a difference between snack of choice and snack that you can eat in less than 30 minutes.
No,
You can
wait,
eat a whole rack of thing in less. You can eat a whole rack in less than 30 minutes.
A whole sleeve of crackers that probably has maybe 25 or 30. Yeah.
No chance.
I eat saltines when I'm sick and when there's nothing else.
And
I
then,
know you
but here's
eat, like,
the thing.
4 of
That's,
them and you're
that's
like,
true.
"All right, I'm
but
good."
That's why you can down those things because they're so light on your stomach.
No, I
But
get it.
okay,
But
but I'm
all the salt.
confused. Yeah, I'm confused though. Do you eat these because you enjoy them? Like you're like, this is my favorite snack, or do you just like? I'm confused as to why saltine.
It's not my favorite
It's like
snack,
you were
but
so
it is
excited to
something
mention that.
It's something I do frequent. It's not my favorite, but I can eat an entire sleeve of them.
Hmm.
Do you guys
I
ever
think-
have Bosco sticks in middle school?
Yeah, those in theory, like I remember those thinking they were good, but those are so disgusting.
Are those like the mozzarella and pepperoni stuffed breadsticks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh yeah.
And I know people hate this. I don't even really care for this establishment, but Kilroy's
Yeah. I was
in
just about to say
downtown
it.
has the best. They still have the best.
Yeah.
I don't go there very often because I don't like when my shoes stick to the floor. But if you want pizza stuffed breadsticks, Kilroy's is the place.
I actually disagree. Ale Emporiums are better.
Oh, I've been to Ale Emporium. I haven't had the Bosco sticks though.
Yeah.
I've had their wings. What are
their
those wings
stuffed
called?
breadsticks on the one on the north side, like 82nd Street. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the spot. Their pizza's super good too. Everybody gets the wings. They have really good deep dish pizza too.
Oh,
Super
okay.
filling. I don't think you could eat the whole thing. Unless
Anything
maybe
deep
put
dish.
saltine crackers on it, then maybe John would.
You know what? I think I've only ever had the wings from Ale Emporium.
Everybody gets the Hermanaki, and that's
Yes.
that's
Yep.
probably the 10th best thing on the menu. Herm Asian sauce is better. The breadsticks are better. All of the pizza is better. Yeah, they're
Good to know.
famous for
Before we
the
move
Hermanaki.
on, what's the beef with saltine crackers?
I don't
It's
have a
just-
beef.
It's just the blandest choice. You call it
Yeah.
vanilla pudding. It's just bland.
Fair
Of
Like-
enough.
all the choices, you went with saltine.
If I
He
think
said
about it
ice
this
cream
way,
cake, and you said
That's true.
saltine crackers.
I'm a lame man. I'm lame.
I wouldn't say you're lame, but that was a lame choice.
this is something my great grandmother would have like responded with, like, "Oh, I really enjoy those saltines," and then those little wafer cookies.
Yeah,
That's the
she can
problem
eat it with no
me.
teeth because she just puts it in her mouth and like sucks on it, and it gets moldy and gross.
I am a 65-year-old in a 26-year-old's body,
Maybe
and
an
I worry that
85-year-old.
means I'm going to stop. Just like everything is going to brain thought processes. Anything's going to end at like age 40 for me because I'm going to have nothing left to do. I'm already an old person.
I'm
That's
glad
a
I'm not
funny
the
image
only
of you
one.
at 40, just in one of the motor wheelchair things, dude. I can't wait for that. Hopefully, we're still doing this. We're gonna do the saltine cracker challenge when you're 40, and
Oh,
you're gonna
God.
just hammer those things. Is that what they're called? Are they called premium? Is that what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of?
That's a
Saltine, yeah.
brand.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, I
brand.
think-
They got
yeah.
the 4 stacks, blue and
Yep.
white. Yeah. You think you could eat all of those, the whole box? 4
I
stacks.
said a sleeve. I didn't say a whole
How about
box.
how long would it take you to eat? Well, it's nothing. You said it's air. 4 stacks.
That's what I said Krispy Kremes were.
Oh, okay. How long do
Sorry,
you think it
though.
would take you to eat 4 stacks of those?
I've never
saltines?
tried, so I don't know.
Have you?
I probably
eaten a-
couldn't do 4 stacks. I think
You
my
ate a whole
max.
stack before?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On an empty stomach, you can, especially when you're younger, you can pretty much do anything.
When people listen to this and we're talking about stacks, they're gonna think we're talking about cheeseburgers. No,
Oh yeah.
No.
saltine
No.
crackers.
All right,
My
this
thing
has
is,
been.
though, like so now I want to know what is your actual go-to snack? Because mine
Dots
would be like
pretzels.
what?
You ever Dots pretzels?
Dots?
mean,
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah. Are those
Dots, the gum
sticks?
drops. Dots pretzels. So it's like the red bag.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
They've got a special seasoning on it. And I think it's from North or South
a
Dakota.
special seasoning. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
you were just
Yes.
gonna say
People love those
pretzels.
things. They charge like $10 for a bag of those.
That is something that, under the right circumstances, I could also eat an entire bag of.
See,
Peanuts.
okay, that's a better answer than
Cashews.
See, I'm back to being 26. I'm
you
no
go.
longer
I like it.
65.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome
We're
back.
back.
I could chow down on some Cool Ranch Doritos.
Easy.
Cool Ranch. That just makes me. So I wasn't a big fan of the Cool Ranch ones. I like the nacho cheese ones, but
That's
I feel
fair.
like everybody would down the Cool Ranch ones back in the day.
No,
Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Oh,
Come on now. All right. We are not high. I
Oh,
promise.
We're going all over the
does
place.
seem like
All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the thing. So what we're going to get into first here, this is something I've had on the shelf for probably the longest thing I've had in my notes for the show, just because I saw this probably 6 months ago. And I was like, you know what? We're going to save this for the week of the Kentucky Derby, just because it kind of corresponds to this kind of thing. So there is something that began last year at a track called the Emerald Downs in Washington State. And they have a bunch of specialty races that aren't just your average horse races throughout their year now, I believe. They've had corgi races. They've had wiener dog races. They've had T-Rex races, which is where, the people get in those suits, those kinds of T-Rexes.
Yeah.
And they also have something called the Grandparents Derby.
I've
I'm
seen
pulling
this.
the video up. You've seen this, Mitchell?
I've seen this.
this is my first time.
So this is basically a 40-yard dash of
yes.
grandparents of various ages from what I remember when I saw this earlier. And I'm just going to let this thing roll.
There's one guy that's like 108.
Yeah, we can just kind of react to it as it plays. So I'm going to let this thing roll.
I love the music already.
And they're off in the
Oh, this guy is
Grandparents
smoking it.
Derby.
Oh,
they
no.
had a spill, another spill.
Yeah.
2 people fall. I'm going to lower the
Hopefully
music now that the
everybody
call's
is
done, just so we
okay.
don't get any copyright issues, because I do believe that's a real song. This
Yeah.
dude who won looks like he's Roger Goodell. I want to go ahead and point that out.
He's nowhere near old enough to be a part of this.
But look at the different variations. You have, so the first guy who falls probably in his 70s, second guy maybe in his 50s or 60s. This dude who wins has to maybe have just been a grandparent a few days before he ran this race.
I mean, he's
100%
cheating.
right.
That guy's cheating.
We should have saved this for the end of the show. I'm gonna think about that guy crashing on his head. The rest of
They
this
did not fall. If you haven't seen it and you're listening on Spotify or somewhere where you're not visually watching what we're watching, you have to look that up. That guy is dead. The guy close to us, you could combine all the hits that I took and they would not amount to the amount of force that his face delivered to that dirt.
What's
And
wild
I
is
don't like
that
that
guy
he
was
didn't even-
maybe 10 yards into that and then just bit the
The
dust.
first guy that falls, you can see he's not picking his feet up. He gets a dirt clump, bang. But the second guy, he was picking his feet up and he was smoking it. He was going to win that thing. And did he get a little jazzed up? He was thinking about his celebration because he takes his step and then he doesn't finish. His next step just never comes. And he just tips, bow, right on his dome. And I think dead. I think he's dead. So nobody even checked on him. No one was laughing. No one checked on him. There were no emergency personnel. That guy may still be there.
Can we watch that one more time? I need to see it again.
Give me just a second. I'll pull it back up.
I do want to say, I don't know why. I just have such a dumb brain. When you said they don't just do regular horse races, I pictured 3-legged horses. It's so stupid. Instead of going the normal route, which is like wiener dogs and T-Rexes, I just pictured like horses with various legs missing, like the ones in the back are at a disadvantage, or I don't even know.
All right, so I'm gonna play this again without
yeah.
sound, just so Dustin can see the guy fall again.
Yeah, I mean this guy in the blue comes out of the gates.
There's
So
the first fall right there.
That's broken arms for sure. Look at his arm. That right
guy was
arm
going
is
for the win. He was clearly super excited.
definition of a front runner.
Yes.
Definition.
And then, so the guy who looks like Roger Goodell to the left of him sees him tumble. He immediately knows that he's the favorite at this point.
But this guy at the bottom in the dark blue, I mean, look at that extension. That is picture perfect. When we were training for the draft and working on our 40s, that is perfect extension on his back leg. He's got flexion in his ankle. His elbow is in a perfect place. How does he fall from this? This is a guy that's run before. This is a runner.
Let's continue.
I'm telling you, his leg just doesn't come. It doesn't come. He gets in perfect flexion, and it doesn't come. Like he hits his step, and his back leg just doesn't come, and then he just is down.
I think I saw what Dustin saw on second watch through. This guy just collapsed.
This first guy goes tumbleweed.
Let's go back and we're gonna watch this one more time. This guy right here. Can I put this in a slower? I want to get this in slower time frame.
This guy, you're talking about, buddy. I just noticed what I think you guys are also noticing. He rolls.
We're going to 0.25 playback speed. Here we go.
Oh, that's broken neck.
Here we go.
I mean, he is so out.
He gets a cramp. Dude in the blue gets a cramp and is gone.
Full hamstring. Oh, he trips this lady for sure. Oh, no, he doesn't. That's pretty good.
I tell you what, props to the lady for getting around the obstacle in her way.
That's pretty good agility out of the girl on the left. And you also notice all these workers at the finish line, like this girl squatting down, just taking pictures. There is a dead man back there, and she's just taking pictures of him. They don't even get up. No one's running to save them. You still don't see these guys.
I think the better angle is still coming. It's in like when it does from the other angle.
Oh, in the replay. I believe this guy right here where my arrow is. Oh, they don't show him.
And then
I'm gonna stop. Does this guy not look exactly like Roger Goodell, or am I fool?
He does. He does look like Roger Goodell.
I mean, he's just. I bet he looks like 70% of white males that are age 50.
Pause it. Why?
Oh yeah, this dude in the king,
around in
the royal.
Dude,
maybe this is the previous winner. I don't know if there was. I thought this was the only edition of this, but maybe this is the previous winner of the Grandparents Derby.
Could be
if you're watching on YouTube.
All right.
Okay, here's another angle for. I do believe you do get a good shot of the guy in the blue.
Have you guys ever seen Happy Gilmore? Go back a little. Go back a little. This is terrible radio, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and recommend, if you're just listening to this, like Mitchell said, coincide, try to pull up the video and watch this, at least on silent while we're describing this, if you want the full
So this guy right here, tell me he doesn't look like, or run, the big guy in the middle that's running with his arms all up. Tell me he doesn't look like the guy that Happy Gilmore shoots with the nail gun when he's running after Shooter McGavin. You know what I'm talking about? I believe that belongs to Mr. Gilmore. Oh, and he's the guy that falls. That's way better. That's way better. Here we go. And then this is the dead knee. Oh, man, that's ACL. See you later. I didn't realize his stability. That's knee stability is no bueno.
Man.
That face was a face of pain. And then he went, look at this. I mean, is this as hard to run in as it looks?
I'm curious what obviously, I guess if it's called the Grandparents Derby, you can be a grandparent at virtually, I mean, not any age, but there's a wide range. But I wonder if there's an age minimum to being in this contest.
Yeah, there has to be. There has to be.
Man,
that was good.
Dustin, that may be, I don't know if it's the hardest, but definitely the most you've ever laughed on. The most I've ever laughed on this show.
I have tears in my eyes. I'm sorry if they...
I'm so glad I got a second look of the dude who just collapsed, because that was something.
This is a free pass to anybody. If anybody ever sees me do something stupid or fall down, like, please laugh at me, because I laugh at people falling down all the time. One time in college, I was walking up steps and just biffed it. I mean, and there was a girl behind me, and she was like, "Are you okay?" As I just laid in the stairs. I'm like, the only thing hurting is my pride. And I laid there for a good 2 minutes.
When's the last time you guys fell for real? Like, fell down.
You're talking about like at least a bruise or a scrape kind of
No,
thing?
doesn't even nothing. There has to be no injuries. Or doesn't have to be any injuries, but you were trying to do something and you just fell. I can't think of a time that's happened to me.
Well, lucky you.
Probably on ice, I guess.
I did do that. I got one time I was walking on ice and I slipped and I had coffee in my hand and I mean shit just went everywhere. And it was like one of those cartoon situations where the leg just kept kicking and kicking and kicking. I tried to keep my balance, but did not happen. But a few months ago, probably when I was walking the dog, I tripped and fell because in Brownsburg, there was a spot where the sidewalk was uneven. And I usually knew where that spot was at. But for one day, I was either texting somebody or on my phone. I wasn't paying attention, hit it, fell forward, did a little barrel roll, stood back up. Not a problem. But I did fall down.
And when was that?
A couple months ago, probably.
Yeah.
What is it? We're in April, May, probably February.
Okay. John, do you
I
have
don't know that I have any. I mean, you mentioned ice. That's the thing that comes to mind, but I've never. I mean, it's just the typical. I'm out walking to my car and or gonna go shovel for a few minutes and just bit the dust.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Those
kind of stories are funny if you like slide all the way down the driveway or something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember. And I just haven't been in cold weather climates in a while, so I haven't been around ice near as much.
You ever fallen while you were playing golf? Like taking a swing, you just swung a little too hard and you just lost it.
I haven't, but have I told you about the time that I was driving the golf cart with the guy on the back and he fell off?
I don't think so.
Oh, this is a great story. So I'll be quick. I know we got a lot to talk about, but I was playing. This is in a golf tournament. We're playing for whatever we're playing for, not money, but like we're trying to play well. And this guy is a zillion over par. Like you have to have a certain handicap requirement. So it's all pretty good players in the tournament. But this guy was just super nervous, the most nervous he's ever been. On the first hole, hits his drive 400 yards out of bounds, finally hits one in the fairway, hits it to the back of the green, and the green was sloped back to front pretty severely, and the greens were lightning fast, and it was down green, which in Bermuda, like, you can't stop the ball. So he hit it. Somehow it stopped at the top of the green, and he hit this putt so light, and it rolled to 50 yards off the green, like just gone slow motion. We watched it roll for 2 minutes, and it's just getting farther and farther. And his day didn't get better. He rifled one on the next hole out of bounds. I mean, he is 100 over. He's ready to leave. And we get to the turn, and I'm in a cart, and he's walking. And I don't have anybody with me. So he says, "Hey, do you care? The walk from the 9th green to the 10th tee was pretty far." So he says, "You care if I just jump on the back?" I say, no problem. Hold on. And he's got a push cart. So this is important. He's got a 3-wheeled push cart. And the way he grabs on is so weird. Instead of just sitting down next to me and holding his cart outside, he stands on the back where the clubs go. And he's got his right hand, I'll never forget it, right hand on the back of the cart, and his left hand on his bag. And we start going, and I'm not going fast, but I'm not going slow. I'm like medium speed. And I can hear him go, whoa, 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 whoa. And I look back, and his cart, his bag has gotten like the speed wobbles, and he's trying to save it, but there's a turn coming, and there's a tree in front of me. And I'm still going medium speed, so I can't like slam on the brakes. You'll go over the top of the cart. So I have to like slow down, but also make this turn. And he's still wobbling back there. And I make this turn, and I don't slow down enough. And his cart, his bag goes flying. He goes flying off the cart. He had all these tees in his pocket, ball markers everywhere. I mean, they are everywhere. It looks like a murder scene. All his golf balls are everywhere. His bag, clubs have flying out of this cart. He hit his head on a root. He's bleeding.
Jeez.
Bleeding. Gets back in the cart after we're done. This is the stupidest part. He decides he's quitting. He's like, I've had enough. I'm going home. And I can't blame him. He just forfeits the round. But he needs to ride with me back to his car because the car is after the 10th hole. And when he gets to get in the cart, he takes his bag off of his pull cart, puts it on, and the pull cart folds up to like the size of a pizza box. Like he could have avoided all of this. He got his bag on the cart and cart folded up in 3 seconds. And he's just sitting there, doing what he should have done, gushing blood down his knees. He's got his head bashed on. Never saw the guy again. I played in a lot of tournaments after that. Never saw him.
Did he seem like a rookie? Like he had never done something like that before?
He was super nervous. I think that was his first tournament ever, and what an experience it was. Shoot a million over par and get thrown off the back of a cart by some idiot.
I'd done the same thing. I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't hopefully, have the same experience. But if I had that experience, I would have quit just like him.
It was time for him to go. He had enough that day.
Yeah,
it was time.
He knew it wasn't for him.
I respect him. Yeah, I respect him.
All right, I got another story. Again, my stories are usually they're more just like me getting myself into silly, stupid situations. So this past Friday, sometimes on Fridays at work, I go into iHeart a little earlier than I normally do, and I end up having to have lunch while I'm out in downtown Louisville. And so last Friday, beautiful day, I go to the local Mickey D's just because it's close by, simple, that kind of thing. I get my food, I find a place to park, and it's, again, beautiful day, so I roll the windows down. And I've told you all many a time about the numerous characters that you may encounter throughout downtown Louisville. And I think I might have learned my lesson this time, but I'll just explain what happened. So one of this dude who was tweaking on something. You could just tell. He comes over to where I'm parked and he's kind of like shaking around, and he walks over to where I'm at. Obviously, I told you my window's down. He comes up to me and he mumbles a bunch of stuff inaudibly. I can't hear anything. I don't understand anything that he's telling me. And he eventually, I hear him say something about wanting change. He wants some change or whatever. And me being super uncomfortable and realizing a couple things. One, I should have driven somewhere else, or two, kept my windows up.
Or gone inside.
Yeah, but it's still not a good area. It's still
fair.
Downtown Louisville. I've never eaten inside this Mickey D's. And speaking of which, this is one of those double-decker Mickey D's. Fun fact.
Oh, very fancy.
But this dude asks for change, and me being uncomfortable, I decide, you know what? I just want him to leave me alone. I don't want him to try to do anything else. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to open up my change drawer and be like, just take all of it. I don't really care. And in retrospect, so I gave him the change, but after I gave him the change, I sat there. I'm like, what are the odds that this dude isn't using this money for food and he's about ready to take this change and go find some more stuff to get hopped up on? Because as I'm giving this guy the change, he's, again, going back to doing this mumbling, inaudible type stuff. Like, I don't want to try to like make fun of him, but like he's sitting there, whatever he's hopped up on. And Mitchell or Dustin, I don't know. I'm sounding, again, very naive. What do you think this dude was on? I guess is just one question I have. And you may not have any idea based on how I'm describing this. But two, I've just got to stop. One, I guess, rolling my window down. And two, why was I not thinking maybe I should just ignore this dude and not give him what he may use again to do something else to potentially harm himself?
I have some opinions, but Dustin, you go ahead.
You want me to go first on this?
I can go first.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, so this is a little more maybe a religious answer. It's not my job to judge. There's a passage in the Bible that someone's going to know this, and please let me know what it is. But basically Jesus is telling you that he doesn't come to you in the form of, the guy on the golden path with the magic carpet or whatever. He comes to you in the most humble ways. Like, you gave me, this is a famous one. It's like, when I had no clothes, you gave me a jacket. When I had no food, you gave me bread. When I had no drink, you gave me water. And so if I have anything I can give, I give it every time, no matter what. And it's between them. I am in a fortunate spot. We all have houses, and I have lights, and like, that dude is probably, unless he just scammed you, and then good on him. But probably,
here's the thing: I don't think he's
outside right
scammed. And I don't mean to interrupt, but I get what you're saying in the whole, like, with the whole verse of what you're talking about, because I feel like when people visualize that kind of a thing, the person may not seem like they're I guess maybe your stereotypical homeless person. He may just walk up to you and be like, "Hey, what's up, man? Do you spare a few
Oh no, I know,
or a few bucks," that kind of thing.
The guys that are users, they're scary. I think, and I guess maybe I'll change my answer. I think
I'm not trying to veer you in any certain direction.
No.
I wanted to make sure I was
think
clear.
It depends on the situation. Like, if I was sitting in park with my window down with Laura there, I think I handle the situation a lot differently than I would if it was just me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but if it's just me, stupidly, I tend to get myself in probably a little more dangerous situations when it comes to stuff like that. Not like I'm gonna follow the guy if he tells me to follow him or something, but like, I've given rides to people that need it. This is actually, I did something.
That's something I've never done. I think I'd be too scared to do that.
Yeah, I did something pretty stupid way back when that I would never do again with Laura. But like, if somebody needs a ride and I can help them, 99% of the time, I'm gonna do that. If they need help, I'm gonna help them in any way that I can. And I probably have been taken advantage of most of the time, but it's not my job to tell them what to do. It's my job to help them when they need it. I've been given some good cards, and like that. What's scary to me in that kind of situation is, and I'm sure you guys have friends that were good kids growing up that tried it once and they're gone forever. Like, you never get them back. So whenever I'm in that situation by myself at the McDonald's parking lot, one, you never know, right? Like that, I believe that Jesus is all around us, and there's all kinds of ways that he presents himself, and that's the way that I view it.
Yeah.
Another way to view it is that was somebody's best friend probably before they tried.
Yeah.
Before they tried whatever they tried and got them to where they got them. And there's people that care about that guy. And hopefully, if I can give him $1 and he gets a cheeseburger, maybe he'll meet somebody that helps him. I don't have the way to, like, I have no idea how to help you. Like, I've never experienced that, but maybe he walks into that McDonald's with the $3 you gave him and sees some guy that used to be in the same situation as him that is much better equipped to handle that. And I don't think that that's the answer everybody should give, but that's the way that I think about it.
Well, see, because I find myself in, anytime I'm around that, because that's not the first time something like that's happened. I was at a different part of town, but a fast food restaurant, eating in the parking lot a couple of years ago, and someone comes up to me. I don't remember if he was a lot more put together, but this dude was kind of like freaking out about something, and he comes up to me. He tries to tell me the story. I don't remember all the specifics of it, but he's like, "Hey, I think it was like $30. He's like, can you go in there?" I know what it was. He needed 30 or 40 bucks. He needed just enough money for a night stay at the nearby motel, whatever it was, that kind of thing. And I always feel, again, I guess it's because of my belief similar to you, Mitchell, and I hate making it seem like it's something I feel obligated to do, but it's just where I feel moved to do this kind of thing. Because he approached me I feel that if I don't follow through on his request, that it's me being selfish, it's me being a coward, and that I'm that's why I'm driven to do that kind of thing. And so I went into this gas station that was by the fast food restaurant and got out my ATM card and pulled out however much money this guy needed. I don't remember the exact. I know I said 30 or 40. It's somewhere around that range. But after the fact, people told me, when I told them what I did, I was like, I'm talking about family members. They were like, you can't trust somebody like that. They're more than likely using that or scamming you or doing it for something else. And that's probably true. But on the same note of what you're saying, Mitchell, there's no way for either of us to know it. And I know, Dustin, you haven't said anything either. And I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I just wanted to add that little tidbit to that, because it's happened multiple times in Louisville with me.
No, you guys are way better people than I am.
It's not about it's not about trying to be the better person, though. It's about feeling guilty if you don't do something about it.
I don't care. I don't know if this is going to sound crass but like, maybe that's not the right word, but I don't really care if people give money, don't give money. I don't care what people use it for. I've always thought, like, I don't know. There's also situations like that where people have gotten, like, I used to work in what was called like at the Ivy Tech near downtown, which is near the Children's Museum. Mitchell probably knows where I'm talking about. It's on Meridian Street. And I don't want to say I got myself into some pretty sticky situations, but there were times when I got very uncomfortable. And there was just a point where I'm like, if I keep talking with these people, it was considered a war zone.
Yes.
And certain, like, didn't matter, like, I was going to probably get myself killed in these situations because I was very naive.
Yeah.
And so I try to separate myself. Now, if it's one thing, like, to me, and I think another thing that people do that I think is a really good idea, like, John, you say, I don't want him to use it on drugs. That's when you could say, I'll go in and I'll offer to buy you a meal.
100%.
And if they don't want, like, I had a boss who I worked for, and something similar happened. She gave a guy a 10. 5 minutes later, walking downtown, she saw him buy drugs with it. So now she'll go out to eat. She'll purchase a meal, a separate meal from what she does, and she'll offer it to somebody on the street. And if they want it, great. If not, she'll take it home, and she'll have it for lunch the next day at work or something.
Yeah.
So there are other ways to do that.
For sure.
If you don't want somebody to, harm themselves or things like that. But I was never like going to the ATM to get out $40. I never had that money.
That's the only time I'd never thought I'd be in a situation like that. And I was reacting strictly on impulse whenever that happened.
But there was a time when, and just as an example, there's a Wendy's that was right across the street, a little bit further south on Meridian. And I would go there sometimes for lunch because obviously they got the dollar menu, and I'm working part-time as an academic advisor, don't make a ton of money. And it started out like, hey, I'll take anything you got. I'm just trying to go in and get a cheeseburger. And I had, like, I don't know, 80 cents or something, like, just in my pocket, 80 cents. And I did carry cash at the time. So I handed him 80 cents. I don't know if it could have bought him anything, but I'm like, surely somebody will give him a quarter so he can go get chicken nuggets or something. And then it became, well, you've got to have more than that. And then it becomes more and more aggressive.
Yeah. That's
because then and so that's when I'm like, I just don't want to put when you just say no, a lot of times for whatever reason, in my experience, they've backed off. And when I offer something, well, you got to have more than that. Well, you got an ATM card or something, it's like to the point where it got a little kind of
pushing you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they're just trying to get more out of you, and they're trying to intimidate you. And I just got to a point where, like, I'm out of here, man. I'm getting in my car. I'm going. And one guy stood behind my car for like 10 minutes, would not let me back up.
Yeah. And I think that I was mostly just picturing myself in the car. Like, you've got.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of like there's a barrier, because I've definitely been in situations where there's the nice intro, man, I'm just trying to get a gas ticket or a bus ticket or whatever. And then like a couple guys come out of the shadows.
Yeah. Yep.
Now all of a sudden you got yourself in a situation where you don't really have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their first rodeo. Like
They know what they're
this
doing.
is a
Yeah.
choreographed thing that they got working most of the time. So if I'm in my car, I'm a lot more willing. When it's just one guy, I'm at the traffic light. I'm a lot more willing. So I guess I should rephrase or preface what I was saying earlier with it has to be the right scenario. If somebody
Sure,
just
yeah.
comes up to me randomly on the street, I am a lot less likely to oblige just giving them cash.
Yeah. And is this is going to sound awfully judgmental on my part.
I can't wait.
And because I have been, and there are, there's a couple coffee shops down. I have not been to downtown St. Louis more than, I think I've been down there twice, maybe 3 times. Anyway, but in downtown Indianapolis, there's coffee shops, within walking distance. And I have seen what I would assume would have been homeless people, and I have offered, like, they just sit in the corner, they don't have anything, they're just kind of sitting there. And I have offered to buy them coffee or a donut before. Like, hey, do you need, and just like an random act of kindness.
Yeah.
Because as Mitchell, in that situation, you feel more comfortable. They're just trying to get out of the weather. They want a place to sit. They want, I don't know. But but then there's times when I'm like, this person might be also fully capable and just.
Oh yeah, I'm very judgmental too. Like it's one of those things. Like when you're in the moment, it's easy to be kind. But for me, like there's a few exits that I avoid now that I'm used to going downtown, because those exits are littered with people who will try to knock on your window or like flag you down, like, hey, I want some money, that kind of thing. And I got so sick and tired of it because I saw the same people each and every day, and it got to the point to where I was like, I mean, yeah, you may be in a bad situation that maybe you didn't, that person didn't want to be in. But at some point, and again, it's hard to even say something like this because I've never been in their shoes. But I feel like if I would want to eventually do something, or at least try to do something to get out of the situation that they're in. Because when you see the same people over and over, months and months, past that kind of thing, you start to wonder, what the hell are these people doing?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. It's such a weird. So
some people like it. Have y'all ever seen the cities under Las Vegas?
No.
You never heard about this?
No.
So there are people. I don't even think it's like.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I've heard something about this, but I don't know exactly what you're going into for sure.
If any of you guys are planning a trip to Las Vegas in the near future, just be aware that there are cities of thousands of people living below the streets. They've built out houses. They've got different sectors. Like, if you'd like to do this, you're over here. If you like to do that, you're over here. And there are thousands of people that are down there at any given time. You should look it up. It's like I can't remember what they're called, but
mole people.
Literally.
Is that really what it's called? Mole people?
I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but there is a thing about mole. I don't know enough about mole people.
Yeah. Oh, it is with the mole people.
Yeah.
The mole people of underground Las Vegas. And they choose to live like this. How many people live under the city? 2,000 people.
Wow.
Are estimated. Yeah. It's crazy. And they can so I can't remember what I was watching, but there's some documentary, through the grates, the rain grates.
Mm-hmm.
You look up and you see Caesar's Palace or something.
That's freaky to think about.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. They're on the strip just underneath. And there's 2,000 of them. All these people going to the casinos, flashy lights, whatever. There's 2,000 people just living below the street. Because
is there a grant? This might sound ignorant, but is there an entrance, a main entrance that these people come from that you can find if you were out?
Yeah,
in Vegas?
I don't know. I mean, people go down there, not like normal people, but people go down there, and I don't know how you get in. I'm actually gonna type. I'm gonna add that onto my little search here.
There you go.
City
It's
under
like-
Las Vegas entrance.
They get there via it.
Oh, okay.
What if there's like a gate that says "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here"? That kind of thing.
I guess it is the sewers, and they've got like big open, like where the water eventually goes out into some reservoir or something, wherever it is, and they're big openings, and you just kind of walk in there, I guess.
If I did that, if I chose to live my life that way, I would dress up like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle at all times.
From 7 years ago, this is on Reddit. Where's the entrance to the tunnels under Vegas where everybody lives? And this guy says, leave people alone. They want you in their home as much as you would want them trouncing through yours. Then this guy says, near the Motel 6 on Dean Martin, bring a light, batteries, water, and a weapon.
They need to make a movie about this.
I got nothing. I don't know.
Well,
It's
let's end on a fun note again. So one last thing I want to get into before we wrap this up. I've got a list of Gen Z slang phrases.
Oh gosh.
And so Dustin's clearly a millennial. Mitchell, I would say you're on the younger side of being a millennial. And I'm kind of right on the fringe. There are certain charts that list me as Gen Z. There are some that list me as a millennial. It depends on which one you look at.
Before we get to this list, though, here's something funny. I have two friends who are teachers, and one of them, when he hears a new Gen Z slang, he has like a Excel database that he puts it into. He puts the word or the phrase, what it actually means, who said it, the day, the time, like all this. He's got a complete rundown of all of this so he can keep up with the latest slang. Continue.
I love it.
All right, I'm going to give this to just one of you all first. And this isn't like a game or anything. There's not like a loser that has to do the punishment wheel or something, which I've got one last thing to add before you wrap up about that sort of, but I'll get to that in a minute. So Dustin, this first one's for you. I'm picking you because I feel like you're not going to know. You're the least likely to know what this word means, and maybe you will. You're a writer. You're a lot more literate than probably both Mitchell and myself, so you may know all of these.
Doubtful. I'm going
to give you this first one. Cap. If someone is saying you're capping, what does that mean?
Yeah, that means they're lying. No
Okay.
cap. No cap means no lie.
That's one that it took. Whenever people first started saying that, I had no clue what the hell people were talking about.
I didn't either. But fortunately, when I was at Saturday Tradition, I worked with a lot of people who were in their 20s, and I did learn a lot of slang. So
there you go. All right, Mitchell, this one's for you. Chuggy. If something is chuggy, what does that mean?
I had never heard of that before.
Nope.
So I just learned what this meant the other day. It's the opposite of trendy. So just like it's lame. It's another way of saying something is lame, I guess.
Okay.
It's like my
Chuggy?
saltine cracker. Me enjoying saltine crackers is pretty chuggy.
Yep.
All right. I don't think I'll ever use that one. I've definitely said cap before.
Dustin, what do you think a simp is?
I do know this. How do I say? Isn't it like if you're trying to like push somebody up or like a diehard fan or something?
Yeah. So it's somebody who does way too much for something or someone that they're
too much
interested in.
praise. Yeah.
Like I'm an Indiana football simp.
Yeah. Simps a pretty fun one to say.
What's not worthy of that much respect?
All right, we're gonna do two more. Bussin'. This is for you, Mitchell. What's bussin' mean?
Fire.
Yeah.
That stuff's good, boy. These
so
saltine crackers are bussin', John.
They are bussin'. They're always bussin'.
I heard that one a bunch in the locker room.
So they said that back when you were playing football? That was the thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Dustin, this last one's for you. If someone calls you an NPC, what does that mean?
What are the word? What?
If someone says quit being an NPC, what does that mean? And the reason I didn't ask Mitchell is because I know he knows what I'm talking about.
NPC?
Like if I'm arguing with you or talking with you, I just say quit being an NPC. Arguing's probably not the best description, but just talking to you, and I'm saying quit being an NPC. What does that mean?
I don't have any idea.
Mitchell, tell him what an NPC is.
NPC is a non-playable character. So like And in this scenario, I'm guessing you have like no opinion. You have you don't add any value to what we're trying to do.
So basically what I do to this podcast.
Things just happen and you just exist. I heard somebody describe someone else in maybe the meanest way possible. He said he was like paint on the wall. Like he just added nothing. He'd been there for years. Nobody even knew about it.
That's me whenever we're talking about the Pacers. I'm the
That's
NPC.
true. Yep, that is true.
I like NPC. Bussin is good. Cap took me a second to say, but when you say it for the first time and you know somebody's exaggerating or lying or whatever, like I say
there's some power to it.
Yeah, when you're playing video games or something and somebody's telling this story about, I had 45 kills in the last game of Call of Duty, and you just hit them with cap, it's very funny. It doesn't get a big laugh from everybody, but it feels pretty powerful. You feel like you're cap. It's good. I like that one. I challenge people to use that this week. You'll like it.
Use cap. Mitchell, we don't even have to do this if you don't want to. We talked before the show about potentially having callers call in about a specific situation. Do we want to save that for another time?
Oh, yeah. This is how we'll end it. So I'm not going to use any names, but got a slight dilemma. And I'd be curious what you guys think is the best move for me. I think I have to tell them by probably Thursday of this week. So you guys have about a day once this releases to message me on Twitter. You can tweet at me directly, or you can send me a direct message. I'll probably see it. Curious what your thoughts are. So I am a salesperson, and we have a huge event. It's a sales event, educational event where a bunch of accounts come into one location. Our CEO flies in there. There's all kinds of people going to be there, our training team, everything. We've been building this event up for like 3-4 months, trying to get accounts to go, and they buy a bunch of stuff, and it's a big day for the salespeople, right? We make a bunch of sales, and there's a lot of potential for income at this place. So it's a big day. That falls on a Saturday, and weddings are also on Saturday. And I'm not the best man. His brother is the best man, but I'm one of the only ones that's not a brother in the wedding. I am in the wedding, went to the bachelor party already, drove out there through the night to get there. If I went to the wedding, I missed the work event and potentially some income that I need. I'm having a baby and need all the money I can get. But if I go to the work event, I'm going to be a terrible person. And I don't think I haven't really brought that possibility up to the person getting married, but I don't know if they would be as understanding as some people think. Like, I think I would be like, yeah, man, whatever, that's fine. I'm not sure he would be like that. So I'm curious, just curious, if you were in my situation, what would your course of action be? There's no right or wrong answer. I can give you 100 reasons why I should go to the work event and 100 reasons why I should go to the wedding. And I think they're all pretty justifiable. So I'm just curious, what do the people think? What's the best? And again, you've got till probably Thursday, end of day, to tell me, because I have to tell the powers that be probably by the end of the week.
And if you want to just share your thoughts on what you would do in general, and you're not worried about the time sensitivity, you can always just hit the
100%.
hotline.
Yeah, I'm also interested. If you want to help influence my decision, you have to message me by Thursday. But I'm also curious. I have an idea of what I'm going to do, but I'm curious what other people would do in that situation. I think there's two pretty clear schools of thought, and I bet there's not a lot of overlap if I had to guess.
Yeah, so 502-830-9195 is the number if you want to share what you would do in that situation. Dustin, were you going to say something before I rattled off that number? All right, one last thing I'm going to throw out there. and it's because I've had it written down, and I wanted to at least bring it up. I'm going to put a poll out there, probably on YouTube and maybe on Twitter as well. And there may be a way I can put it on Spotify too. Should we bring back town name trivia? I know it's something I used to do pretty regularly, and we were going to add the punishment wheel to it. We haven't done it in quite some time. I've kind of just abandoned it for whatever reason. And so I'm just going to put it out to the listeners and or viewers on YouTube and Spotify, Twitter, that kind of thing, and just have you all decide if we should keep doing town name trivia. Because if we're not going to do it, I just want to erase it out of my phone. But if you all like it, we'll bring it back. So
I like it.
What better way to do it than just let you guys decide if it's entertaining or not? So with that being said, I guess we'll just wrap up today's episode. Another long one, but very enjoyable one as well. So thanks to Mitchell and Dustin for all they always contribute and for the laughs. Love talking about the Grandparents Derby. Also, happy Derby week if you live around the area and you enjoy going out to the track or going to derby parties, that kind of thing. So hopefully you enjoy the weekend ahead if you're participating in that kind of stuff. So until next time, this has been Out of Touch. We will talk to you next week.